What is up, guys? MattWic here. We are back NHL 25 with our Testing the Draft Quebec Draft Kings here in 2029, coming off a Stanley Cup Finals run where we were so close yet again to another championship, but it just was not meant to be. Before we get started in some of the season sim, which will actually be the first time I put a video up for the season sim for this team, we'll try to get these seasons. If we make the playoffs, we'll put that all in this video. But let's take a look at our lines, which are absolutely loaded. Look at all these 90 overalls that we have on the forward unit. Paulson and Ricky Combs are, of course, two of our drafted boys who have developed very nicely, still very young too, so they can get much better with some good seasons, which they have had in the last couple of years. Jacob Koltsov is also another guy who is drafted by us, so it's good to have our boys on this team and making their way into the lineup, even though we are stocked. In the bottom six, we have made some changes. We got Stu Scrimes in there, who was there last year. Adam Banak, finally 80 overall, only 22 years of age. He's going to be an interesting player to see how many points he put up. I believe in the AHL, yeah, he put up a lot of points, 60 points, 71 last year, so just getting better. And he has some very good stats. I mean, if you look at the offensive awareness and the shooting skills, phenomenal, as well as skating. He is a beast. A little bit small out there, not as physical, and his defensive capabilities leave some to be desired, but we will hope for the best with him on that third line and hope that Berggren and Stu Scrimes, two-way forwards, can step up for him as well. Pierce Barnett and Sergei Kagradov also make the team for the first year. These are two drafted players. Actually, is Pierce Barnett? Yeah, he is. Pierce Barnett had a phenomenal season last year in the AHL, 42 goals. You can't not call a guy up like that. Might actually give him some third-line minutes with Stu Scrimes, just because he's not a drafted player by us, but he does have some very solid stats, and he had a pretty good year last year. So we'll let him be there for now. If Pierce Barnett starts scoring, shows us that he deserves the extra minutes, we will bump him up there. Kagradov, a little bit worried about him. None of his stats really pop off the screen at me. He has great awarenesses, which, I mean, it makes sense because that's what we've focused on super heavily so far in this GM mode. So 88 offensive awareness, 87 defensive awareness. Hopefully that can help overcome some of his shortcomings in his other stats. I mean, the puck skills, the shootings, the physicals, the skating, none of it's really there, but he does have the brain, so we'll see if that can outdo the feat here in this one. And then, of course, our absolutely loaded defensive core, which you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better defense than this in any NHL GM mode, really. And then to keep this together for as many years as we have has been insane. Let's actually take a look at some of these contracts. We have Thomas Harley locked up for 2 more years, Bachfist for 3, last year for Keandre Miller on this cheap deal, and 3 more years for Romanov, which, wow, that is a phenomenal contract looking at that now. And then we also have Harold Galvin, who is our drafted boy, first-round pick, 28th. He was a steal in the late first round. And then we're still rocking with Philip Broberg for now until somebody in the AHL proves they can make this roster, which we have a couple guys who hopefully will be there sooner rather than later. Goaltenders, we got Joel Blomqvist coming back for another year. We did re-sign him to a pretty hefty contract, 5 years, $7.5 million. Did give him a no move clause and no trade clause, modified though, so we still can move him once Carter George gets ready to go, and then one of our AHL goalies that we've drafted get there. We have 12 teams to choose from, so shouldn't be too bad for the, and I've missed this last episode because I was so upset about losing in the Stanley Cup Finals. He won the Vezina and the William M. Jennings Trophy last year, so we could not let a guy like that go, especially when we have a stacked team like this. We want to get our first cup. We want to see Ricky Combs, Kalle Paulson, Koltsov, these guys with a Stanley Cup in their name. And then, of course, Carter George, 23 years old, medium starter. He is developing nicely, I will say. We'll see what he can do. Hopefully be a long-term backup for us, especially with some of the other goalies that we've drafted. A couple medium elites, and then one down in the AHL right now. Show you guys real quick the AHL lineup. We have Esa Korinen, who is not one of our drafted players, but a guy we were able to find on the free agent market. Grabbed him just to fill a spot down here. We have Adam Novotny, 76 overall, so he is close, 21 years of age. Hopefully soon he can be able to step up into the NHL, because I want to get him up there, especially with that skating. I do play a couple games in this GM mode from time to time whenever I'm recording these videos, just to mix it up, get me out of my, start falling asleep here a little bit when you get on the ice and start ripping it up with some of these guys. It is pretty fun. One thing that I found was disappointing is our AHL team didn't win the Calder Memorial, or the Calder Trophy, in the AHL for the just like the equivalent of the Stanley Cup, if you aren't familiar with it. It does not show that in their little stat screen, which would be cool to see, like have a guy come up, maybe he's won a couple Calder's for you, and then he goes back to the NHL, wins a couple Stanley Cups. That'd be cool to see the AHL awards as well, but I guess it does not show that. Gonna put Jacobson there, another first-round draft pick of ours, 20 years of age, 74 overall. He has some great discipline. He's never going to be out there causing problems for us, which we like to see. Also some insane durability. Damian Bannister, who is the sniper of the future. I believe he had a massive year last year. Yeah, 21 goals, 25 goals the year before that, so hopefully we keep seeing improvement from him. Really, those are the only forwards to really keep an eye on. We have Ruslan Baikov up here as well, who's one that we can hopefully see in the next couple of years. Rick Rabbit, a fantastic name, a former first-round draft pick of ours. He's another guy, offensive defenseman too, that we want to see in the NHL very soon. And then we also have Rocky Strong, 6'5", 236, age 20. That we are going to hopefully develop to get to the NHL squad, former 5th-round pick in 2027. So we need to develop him up so that he can get into the NHL. For goalies, we have Sergei Kazanov, medium backup potential. He just has really high overall, so he's nice to have in the AHL to kind of, just give those guys a solid foundation back there. But the real guy, Jadon Faith, 6'3", 193, medium elite potential. He is 21 years of age, so I want to start seeing him develop a little bit faster, but we will see what the season brings with him. Nobody really of note besides Tyson Wong, another draft pick of ours, 68 overall, Kyle Ho, so some very oriental names in our scratch list here. And then other than that, not a whole lot going on. We got Joel Edmondson to be a guy in the room to kind of guide everybody around in case they have any questions about maybe making it to the NHL. But guys, let's get into it. We have a it should be an easy year. We won 60+ games last year. Won the President's Trophy, so we should be able to cruise our way into the playoffs. Let's get a couple months in, and I'll bring you back in to see how we're doing. All right, guys, so after 3 months of simulation, we sit very comfortably with a record of 25-8-3. The boys have been playing phenomenal right now. If you look on the right side of the screen, 6th in goals per game, 2nd in goals against, which makes sense with that defense that we have, 5th in the power play percentage, 11th in penalty kill, which is a little bit disappointing. We'd like to see that get up a little bit higher, but unfortunately in our division, the Florida Panthers are having themselves a hell of a year, but this has been the way it's been the whole time so far in this GM mode. The Atlantic division is just stacked. We are 25-8-3 and still we're a little bit iffy on a playoff spot. We would be first place though in the Metro. I mean, look how terrible that division is right now. We had to pick the Atlantic. If we would put ourselves in the Metropolitan, we would have been dominating really any other division though. I mean, if we go and look at the West here, nobody else is even close. I mean, we have 53 points, 50, 45, 45 there. That would be almost at the top of these divisions in the West, which is surprising with Colorado, with how dominant they've been over the first couple years of this franchise mode. Now, we do have one piece of business we're going to have to attend to, because if you can tell by our lines there, you might notice something has changed. So Ricky Combs having himself a great season, 8 goals, 25 assists. We'd like to see that goal number come up a bit, but plus 11, so he's out there contributing. Callie Powson having himself a year, 29 goals, 20 assists, 49 points, and a plus 17 in 36 games. So he is looking to be our dominant player in this franchise mode, which is good that we have him locked up long term. Toro up there playing hell of a good first line minutes. 6'6". We love that size here in Quebec. Stu Grimes, who got bumped up from the 3rd line because he was having a phenomenal year, and Ridley Gregg was struggling mightily. This line was a minus. The only line and only players on the team that were a minus, and we moved him out, and the line has gotten a lot better. Anton Lindell, 12 goals, 20 assists. Koltsov having a decent year. We'd like to see more production, but it's fine. Only so many guys can get goals. But like I said, Ridley Gregg, 91 overall, 36 games played. He was playing top power play for the longest time, for I believe a month and a half, 2 months. And then we took him off at 9 goals, 4 assists. He finally got his plus minus back to positive. But I think it's time that we move on from him. Now let's take a look at that contract. How hard is he going to be to move? Not hard at all, because he is still in his rookie year's deal for, I guess, the first year of this. So he's not eligible for that no movement clause, or that modified no trade clause that he has, which isn't really too restricting. But he is going to be a guy we move on from. Some team is going to get a hell of a contract from moving on from him. But if you look at the rest of the line, Berggren, wait, can I get up to the, there we go. 3 goals, 14 assists, which isn't great, but it's not like we ask him to do a ton. He's more of just like a face-off specialist down there on the third line. 90 face-offs, which is what we've trained him up to be. He's just a really all-around solid player. Guys you need if you're going to win a Stanley Cup. Adam Banak, a little bit disappointing. He hasn't produced more, but he's not a liability. No penalty minutes so far, +5, only playing about 10 minutes a game, so it makes sense that the production isn't there. However, Pierce Barnett on the fourth line, +15, 12 goals in the season. This is a big reason of why I want to move Ridley Gregg on, is because I want Pierce to be playing on the third line now. We could move Gregg down to the fourth line, but there's a guy I want to call up in the AHL who's playing hard, and he deserves it. Connor Zary having a respectable year, +12 on the fourth line. Can't ask for much more than that. Same thing with Kagradov there. And of course, our defense is just absolutely dominant. Thomas Hardley, we'd like to see more goals out of a 95 overall, but he doesn't really have the superstar or X Factor abilities to be able to put up goals, which is interesting because in my Calgary Flames GM mode, he did get the Heat Seeker superstar ability. So it will be interesting to see if that difference is enough to up that goal output for him. Adam Bachfest having a great year, 92 overall still. Keandre Miller, unreal 94 overall, so this is just nuts. Romanov having a good year, +8, and then look at our boy down here, Harold Galvin, +19, and then Broberg a +17. So these guys are on the ice for whenever all the goals get scored, which is cool to see. But guys, let me go look around the trade market, see what we can get for Ridley Gregg. Got to be a lot of picks probably. I don't think I'm going to bring any prospects or anything like that in. Like I said, we have our boy in the AHL. He's ready to come up. Only 76 overall, Esa Kornin, but 6'5", 225. He'd look great on that fourth line, and he's got 19 goals, 11 assists right now in the AHL, so he's playing well. Nice power forward to add to the depth of the team, add a little toughness in there as well. So like I said, let me go through the trades, see what we can find, and see what kind of picks we can get for Ridley Gregg. Just to make sure we didn't wreck our room whenever we make that trade, I did scratch Ridley Gregg, called up Kornin, and simmed through a couple of games, and as you can see, the difference really isn't very huge. If anything, we might be scoring even more now. Look at some of these wins: 7-0, 7-6, 6-5, 7-2, 6-3, 7-3. We did lose a couple games there back-to-back, which made me a little bit nervous, but on a 4-game winning streak now, so I'm going to go through. Let's find that trade for Ridley Gregg and see how many picks we can come away with. All right, so Ridley Gregg does have a decent bit of trade value, and this GM mode really isn't about being super realistic since our main goal is trying to build through the draft, so I'm not too worried about trades and how they would look realistically. So we're going to see if this will go through. Ridley Gregg in a second this year for Nashville, who is terrible. I really wanted to send him somewhere where he couldn't come back to bite us. I was looking at Dallas because they wanted him and they have the cap space for him, but their team looks pretty nasty right now, so I wouldn't want to add him to that lineup in case they do make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. So Nashville struggling right now. It would be nice to get their first round pick, especially if it becomes a top 10 pick, because there are a lot of studs in this draft. And then there's just this McKinnon guy just as a toss in, so that way they can take him as they are at 50 contracts already. So let's see, will this trade go through? The values look pretty even. Trade rejected. You've given us a fair offer. If we accept this deal, we would have to make some roster moves, which includes Matthew Rempe on waivers. Oh, come on. It's just Matthew Rempe. What? You're 1724. What the hell, Matthew Rempe? Oh, come on. Give me a break, Nashville, for that bum. He's not really a bum. I like him as a player, and his first name's Matthew, so I have a soft spot in my heart for him. But come on. 78 overall, 27 years of age. It's not like he's really doing anything out there. Let's see if we can just toss maybe a little extra pick in there, just to, you know, they're playing hardball with us right now. You know, oh, you're gonna lose Rempe. Oh no, here's a 6th. Here's a 6th as well to go with that. All right, well, let me see if I can get something done here real quick, boys. All right, so we were able to make the trade happen. I didn't think it was actually going to go through when I did what I did, but it worked. So we ended up trading Ridley Gregg in a second for Nashville's first and Brandon Saad, who was on their NHL roster, but he had the lowest trade value. He's not going to start for us or really play. We might even just flip him for like a 7th if possible, although his trade value was so low, so I don't think that's going to happen. But we were able to pull off a hell of a deal there. I will take it. Let's keep simming and see where we end up. All right, guys, I bring you back in here right before the trade deadline. Really wanted to get a little bit further in, but I just saw something that made my jaw absolutely dropped. So if you see there on the right, goals for per game, we're at 4 goals per game, second in the league. Every stat looks great. You might see a team leader down there with 97 points, and might notice we're only like 60 some games in, 69 I believe to be exact, 61 even. So he has 97 points in 61 games, and that's not what made my jaw drop. What made my jaw absolutely drop to the floor is he has 59 goals in 61 games and is a plus 44 at 22 years of age, absolutely smashing his previous best seasons. This is unreal. I don't think I've seen anything like this, and I'm not doing anything like double shifting him or anything like that. He's got 20 power play goals, 10 game-winning goals. This is insane. I don't know how many he's going to end up with. He might have hit 50 and 50. We might have to go back and check through the box scores at game 50 if it shows, like, if he scored a goal in that game, how many goals he had in that game. This is unreal. He's gonna, I mean, he's on pace for like 80 goals right now, which is unreal. Let's take a look through some of the rest of these guys. And as you can see, Toro and Combs absolutely loving it, eating it up with the assists. Combs specifically, he's already on pace to best his highest point season, which was last year. He's got 61 points in 61 games, which is easy to do when you got a guy like Kalle Palsson, who's over here just dominating the league. Holy shit. Stu fucking Scrimes, 83 overall, was an 80 to start the season, 52 points in 61 games. Like, I don't know, like, nothing on this page. I mean, he's a very solid two-way forward, but in my mind, like, he doesn't really stand out much from a guy like Jonathan Berggren, who we have on our third line. But this is just insane. I think Stu Scrimes, too, he's on the second power play. So 27 goals and 25 assists. Lundell, 21 goals. Koltsov with 16. Pierce Barnett having himself a good season. Plus 14, 27 points, 16 goals. I'm not really asking much more from that than that from a 77 overall forward. Berggren, like I said, look at his stats compared to what Stu Scrimes has, and there's not a massive difference. If anything, Berggren's just a little bit better, and he's a two-way forward as well. That's just insane to me that he's putting up those kind of numbers. Banak, yeah, it is what it is. 6 goals, 13 assists. He's a +2 though, so he's not killing us. He's contributing a little bit. Koronen's played well in his 25 games up, +5, only playing 9 minutes per night. Zari, can't complain about a fourth line center like that, and same with Kagradov there. But holy shit, we have some surprises on this team. Thomas Harley, 48 assists already. That's pretty cool. What do we got from Bogfist? 10 goals, 44 assists, 35 assists from Keandre Miller. Romanov not having a great season in terms of statistics, but a +25. I mean, that's just nuts. Same with Galvin here, +28. And then Broberg at a +23. So guys, this is nuts what I'm seeing so far from these guys. We trade an 81 or 91 overall forward, and an 83 overall forward is just absolutely putting up just insane numbers. Maybe no one's covering him when he's out there on the ice, which is nuts. But I mean, I can't believe Kalle Palsson. I have to go look real quick at the stats and see where he is in terms of just the rest of the league. But this guy is carrying us. I know in other GM modes I say the issue is we're not getting the goal scoring. We're getting massive goal scoring from one guy, and then an 83 overall who was playing third line minutes at the beginning of the season. He's tearing it up, and Palsson's scoring at a 20% clip, which is absolutely nuts. And he is shooting the puck like a fiend. 286 shots on net. Let's take a quick look. Oh my god, this is insane. What's the next highest in terms of goals? So he has 59. McKinnon, the Lord McKinnon. Oh, he's actually started to drop. He was, I believe, like close to a 99. But he's 34 years of age now, and he is starting to drop off a little bit there. 91, which would be a big drop if he was actually a 99. But he is 11 goals back of our 22-year-old Kalle Palsson. So holy shit, boys. Absolutely insane. He's leading the league. Jake DeBrusk, that's a bit interesting. He's 91 overall now, but he's got 96 points right behind him, besting Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Oh, and Connor Geeky up there as well is a bit, or Morgan Geeky. Okay, so I guess maybe he's the one scoring all the goals. That's a bit surprising to see those guys up there, but I'm just stunned. Kalle Palsson, let's see in terms of shots. Is he just, yeah, he's ripping the fucking puck. We got Rudy McKenzie over here in San Jose, who I believe, yeah, first year pick in that expansion draft. He looks like a decent player, but good God, Callie Powson, what a shock this is for me. I mean, like I said, look at his previous seasons. Yeah, he did well, but this is different. He must have been hitting something in the offseason, doing some kind of drugs. I don't know, hitting that Russian gas. But boys, let me know, what are your thoughts on this in the comments below? Do we have a new Lord and Savior? I know Thomas Harley before was our Lord and Savior in the comments. I guess I should have seen this coming, because now I'm just realizing I mean, this is through 82 game seasons though. This is 61 games. Something changed. I don't know what it was, but he is a beast. Something I did worked. I don't know if I told him to shoot more or what in the offseason focus, but good God, good golly gracious, he is absolutely doing phenomenal work. I don't even know what I was going to say now. This is nuts, boys. Let's get to the end of the season and see what kind of numbers he can put up. Real quick, guys, before we go and do that, though, I was able to go back through the box scores and find our 50th game, which we won 7-2 against the Colorado Avalanche. And if you look here, Callie Powson had himself a hat trick. 42 goals in 50 games. So he came close, but maybe next year he'll be able to get to that mark. But it's insane to think that he was that close, and it's insane that this kind of production he's had after that. But guys, let's get to the end of the year. I want to see him put up 94 goals. All right, guys, here we are at the end of the year, and we finished with a phenomenal record, 56, 21, and 5, 117 points. Unfortunately, though, the Florida Panthers had an even better year, 126 points. Absolute domination from them. The New York Rangers and the Devils actually picked it up big time at the end of the year, but I mean, still, look at that Atlantic Division, 110 points, 107 points, getting into the playoffs there. Let's take a look at the West. Avalanche definitely picked it up, as well as the Oilers and the Canucks getting over 100 points there, but our boy, Callie Powson, as you could probably have already seen at the bottom of the screen, 82 games, 74 goals, 50 assists for 124 points, which is probably the most points I've had a player put up in a long time. But let's go through the rest of the roster, see what everybody did. Pierce Barnett, I see up to 78 overall, which is cool for him. Let's take a quick peek at the defense overalls, see has anybody dropped or grown. Bachfist went up 1, Miller went down 1, Galvin actually went down 1, which is a little disappointing, our young boy there. But let's take a look at these stat totals. Ricky Combs plus 46, plus and minus 46, as many penalty minutes as he had, which is awesome. 210 shots on net for him, an 85-point season, dominating, absolutely dominating this year, and large part in help from our boy Callie Powson, who is now the face of the NHL out of nowhere, plus 57, 367 shots, stayed at a 20% shooting percentage, 24 power play goals, which is surprising. He only had 4 from the time we last checked in those 20 games, but holy crap, this guy might actually carry us on his own to a Stanley Cup Finals. Let me look at his playoff stats as well that he did. Yeah, he's put up some decent goal numbers in the last couple of playoffs, only getting better and better, but this was his breakout season. 22 years of age, 74 goals, gotta be the best in the NHL. Toro over here, 48 assists, a plus 41. Not going to complain about that. He has been a nice steady piece for us up on that top line since we started using him there. Stu Scrimes, 83 overall, 36 goal season. How many did he have down in the AHL last year? He had 25. It's a little confusing because, no, he had... Wait, yeah, he 25 last year, 41 the season before. That's Pierce Barnett I'm thinking of, which we'll get to him in a little bit. Haven't looked at any of this, though, guys. 73 points for Stu Scrimes, 36 goals. A phenomenal year for him, and I'm very happy that I decided to give him more minutes and just kick Ridley Gregg to the curb, because good God, Stu Scrimes, you have earned it, my brother. Anton Lindell, a very good season for him as well, putting up points a little bit off of what he's put up, but I mean pretty much on par besides that one season. So a phenomenal year for him as well. Let's take a look. Koltsov, 22 goals, 37 assists, not going to complain about that. Pierce Barnett, first year in the NHL, 21 goals, 35 points, playing a good majority of the season there on that fourth line too, and he's only playing on the third line, so imagine if we got him more minutes as well, which might be hard to come by with how our top 6 is shaken out. Jonathan Berggren, very solid, only a +2, which gives me a little bit of concern there. Banak never really put up the numbers we would have hoped for, so maybe we move on from him if one of our other guys is ready. He's definitely going to be the first guy on the chopping block because he's not one of our drafted players. Esa Kornin, not at all going to complain about that. 9 minutes of ice per game. 10 goals in 46 games playing on the fourth line, 76 overall, +8, not hurting us at all. Connor Zary down here, wow, 15 goals, 19 assists, +28 on that fourth line as well. And then to finish it out, Sergei Kagradov, +22, 12 goals, 17 assists. Again, limited ice time. Let's check out Thomas Harley, 67 assists for the former Lord and Savior. I'm gonna crown him now. Callie Palson's our Lord and Savior now for this GM mode, but a +40 for Thomas Harley there, 61 assists and 12 goals for Bachfist with a +41, 40 assists for Keandre Miller, 22 assists and a +27 for Romanov there, +38 for Galvin. Don't know why he dropped if he had a good year for like that. And he is a defensive defenseman too, so it's not like he's ever really going to put up big numbers, but +38 is huge. And then Broberg there with a +33. Let's take a look at the goalies. Blomqvist in net, 913 save percentage, 257 goals against and 5 shutouts, 43 wins. Might have himself another Vezina. Carter George, 921 save percentage, 243 goals against and 2 shutouts for him. So his future looks very bright with the team. But holy shit, guys, let's go take a look at the league leaders before we get into the playoffs, which we'll leave for another video just because I want Callie Palson to have his flowers. I want him to have it all here. I'm going to title the video something crazy, just because holy crap, boys. Like I said, I've never seen like a player of mine that I've drafted really just put up numbers like this. I mean, they've had solid seasons before, but nothing like this before. 367 shots, far and away the highest on the rest of the team, over 100 more, and a 20% shooting percentage, which is insane that he was able to sustain that throughout the entire year. So let's take a look. Did he win the Maurice Rocket Richard? Yes, he did, very comfortably, staying 11 goals up on Nathan McKinnon, still a 91 overall. Did he win? Oh, Connor McDavid, you bitch. You can't just give it to the kid. Pass the torch over to him. Even Jacob, holy crap, Jacob DeBrusk still put up insane numbers there. 124 points for him as well as a 91 overall. But guys, holy crap, what a season from Callie Palson. Really, like I said, coming out of nowhere. In terms of shots, one guy beat him, and it was the guy from San Jose, Rudy McKenzie. But in terms of shooting percentage, I mean, if we do, what can we do? Minimum... but we'll do minimum like 20 games. I don't know how much. So he played 81 games, this Haminao guy. So 22%. Draisaitl had 0.3% better than him. But look at the shots. Holy crap, guys, that is insane. Like I said, I've never really seen anything like that. So let me know in the comments below your craziest seasons that you've had from some guys. But I am sweating right now because I am excited for what the playoffs hold for us here. Now, it is going to be tough. We do have to go through that Florida Panthers team, which turned out to be a powerhouse this year, a big juggernaut. But I think with Callie Palson leading the way, we might have to switch up our captaincy here because it was Ricky Combs. Maybe Callie Palson takes that torch now, or do we leave it where it is right now? Let me know in the comments about that as well, guys. But I'm going to end the video here. We'll get the playoffs in the next video. It's going to be electric, boys. I'm very excited for this. I'm glad I got back to this series right now in between of our Calgary one. But let's go, boys. Massive season for the boys. Massive season for Callie Palson. Make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts on his season, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers, which is insane. So thank you guys for all the support on the videos and in the channel so far. I really do appreciate it a lot. I do appreciate it, boys. But that's the end of this one. Make sure to have a great day. Peace.